Here we go. This is going to be another rant video about scaling. But before we get to that, I wanted to mention that the Cyber Monday shop and the Black Friday shop are going to be vanishing. So if you haven't yet purchased anything out of these shops or done this Trove quest line thing, then you might want to consider doing it and grabbing what you want out of the Cyber Monday shop and the Black Friday shop, because they're going to be disappearing when the new update hits this week. Let's take a look at the main story here. So if you check Greenguard, you've got a level 3 plus requirement. For Heartwood, level 4 plus. For Livingstone, level 6 plus. And this is the pattern that continues as you progress up the ladder. And this is smart. This is a good way to go about increasing your kind of promotion. So this one here doesn't mention a level, but when you go to Sandsea, it tells you need to be like level 20 or 30. I think it was 30. For Sandsea, it was 30, which is kind of a gap between Arkengrove and Sandsea. Now, of course, you do have other things that when you're progressing, so maybe by the time you get to Sandsea, you would be around the 30 mark, give or take. And you've also got some side content, of course, which you can do as well. And some of these do have requirements like this and this. So you do have requirements on some of them, but some of them are scaled like this. I don't have a huge problem with some side content like this or Masquerade being scaled. This is not something I have an issue with, but I do like the option that they do have things like this where it does mention the level, so the person that is going into checking these out will be aware at what level they should be, what required level they would want to be at. And then you you go into the newest one, which is Nulgath Saga. Of course, it doesn't mention any level. Similar to this, it should actually mention the level because it is level 30, I believe. But this one here doesn't mention. This should be a level 30 zone very easily. I recently tried running this through on a brand new account, and because it's open, and when you start a brand new account, this story is right up on top. It's one of the very first things you see actually you can see it right here. It's one of the very first things you see. So when you go into your adventures menu, this is one of the very first things that you're going to be checking out. And especially if you are a returning player, an AE player, Nalgath is going to grab you. So then when you go to this location, you are introduced into a very difficult thing. Now I'm on the red server, so you would assume that this particular map would be packed with players because this is one of the newest things, but that is not how this game works, because there's only 1,000 people online at one time. And so you're going to be running up against, I'll give you an example. There's no way this player is going to be taking on this boss by himself. There's absolutely no way. So if there's a quest that requires you taking out this boss, you're not going to reach it. Another boss that is required and is one of the earlier bosses, I have to figure out where it is. This guy right here. So this is like the 5th quest into the storyline. You need to take down this guy, and there is not one person fighting this guy right now, and there's very rarely anybody here to assist the player. So you have a brand new player trying to play through this game, and this is the map he's introduced to, and it gets far worse. Now, assuming that you actually managed to beat the Kragenzool boss, because there is part of the story you need to go into a solo dungeon and beat Kragenzool. For a higher level, it is not that difficult, even though there have been multiple people that have struggled with that dungeon, but it is beatable. For a new player, it is impossible because they just don't have the know-how in order to take it down. This is one of their first introductions to dungeons, and it's a very difficult challenge for them. So any new player getting into Nulgath, they're going to drop out of trying to play it just from sheer frustration. They wouldn't have even made it that far, to be honest. And then, let's just say if they did get that far, then you're brought to this particular point. So you need to go into the Catacombs of Sorrow. This is where one of the first things you've got to do, and you need to take out, you have a quest in here to take out the Keymaster or to take out, you know, one of these enemies. But again, this is a scaled zone. Now, even though it is reduced scaling, which helps, it is still not enough because everything in here targets you. So even if you're level 12 by the time you get here and your goal is to take out this Keymaster, which is only scaled one level below you, you have all these other things attacking you, and there is no way a single player or even two players at that level are going to be able to beat it. There's a reason why the Nulgath Saga is completely dead, and it's only because of scaling. If this was a level capped zone at level 30 and everything in here was capped at level 32 or something, or 35 even, then we would all be able to go through this solo. If you got up to the cap level and you have the best gear on, you would be able to do this dungeon by yourself, which is the way that it should be because largely this game is a solo game. So the problem with this is they made a saga that no one except for the people at the beginning can play. And there's other maps that are having the exact same situation. If they want to have side content be unplayable, fine, but why do the main stories need to be unplayable? They should be beatable and not at any level. It should be level capped so that once you get to a certain level, you'd be able to play through it no problem by yourself, because after a while, people aren't still farming in that zone, which is understandable. That's the way it is with every game. So there should be a solo-friendly option. And right now, Nalgath Saga definitely does not have that. I made a video with some other content creators about scaling, and after which the devs had said they were going to be reworking the scaling system. That could be a good option, but I would think it's a lot easier just to simply remove scaling from certain zones. Before I end this video, I do want to mention there are some pros to scaling. Like, number one, you get more XP because the enemies are closer to your level. It's also nice to get scaled items with varied stats because when you are farming scaled items, they do drop with different power levels, so you get some better stats and some with worse. So that's a nice option as well. But then you have cons like places being unplayable if you're running solo, which is currently affecting Nulgath Saga and a lot of our recent side content. But that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments below. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next one.